Ladies and gentlemen, got the sports world going up on a Tuesday. All right, welcome to a brand new episode of the Real Leel Show. Is going down, just so you know. Say it ain't so. Okay, go ahead. Go with your bad self. Say it ain't so, but it's going down, just so you know. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, make sure you care. Have no fear. The champ is here. Salute to the great Ali. All right, we are here, man. I'm pumped up. Even though I had a long day at the 9 to 5, I still got the drive to come on here and give my take from my side, okay? From my vantage point, the way how I see it, not the way how y'all want to see it. And look, I respect y'all's opinion. Now, I mean, we love the feedback, we love the debate, we embrace it here. But I'm gonna give it to you the way how the real Lil see it, and just remember that. Always remember that. All right, I don't care like Farrakhan say, I don't care if they put a gun to my head. I'm not going to lie to you to not make you believe what is the truth, because I am going to speak my piece. Best believe it. Now, Lee, welcome back. It's a brand new show. Good topics. We are going to talk about, let me give y'all the rundown. We are going to talk about the WNBA once more, the culture wars, all the things that is going on in the WNBA. Should the WNBA embrace it though? Right? Is bad publicity good publicity? We're going to break that down. Talk about those dynamics. I got a lot to say daily. We're also going to break it down with Jayden Daniels. It's his mama. Okay. Salute to Tupac, dear mama. It's his mama ruining his image. We're going to break that down. And also, we're going to end off talking about the Browns quarterback battle, which I deem to be the most intriguing battle of the whole entire summer. Did Deshaun Watson win the job after preseason one, or should we pump the brakes, as we know Shedeur Sanders may be starting in week 2, maybe, or they might pull the plug. We'll see. We're gonna break that down. I got my guy Lee to help me do it. Lee, I'm gonna pass the mic over to you. What's the vibes looking like, man?
Man, everything's looking good. Sports is getting hotter and hotter. We are getting narrowing down the WNBA season. They're going in the playoffs. We got the NFL preseason started. NBA is on the near horizon. Man, this is a great time of the year, and we're here to break it down. College football about to start. So a lot of good things going on, Leel, and I'm ready to do that work. So let's talk about it.
And we might as well get right to it, because obviously, Lee, we got to talk about this a little bit last week as it was breaking, which was the Jayden Daniels jersey NIL scandal situation, however you want to call it, where he, not talked about, but where he requested that the LSU Tigers remove his jersey, number 5, as one of the players, the cornerback, Pickett, has the number 5. And we all know, I think by now, that it wasn't Jayden Daniels who did that. It was somebody from his team. And Lee, I believe that somebody is his mama. So I want to know from your opinion, is Jayden Daniels' mother, whose name is Regina Jackson, ruining his image? The mic is yours.
Yeah, man, it's a lot going on there, Leel. It's been a lot going on. I mean, she came out and said, her job is to keep all of these young thirsty ladies away from Jayden.
Want me to play that clip, Lee?
Yeah, go ahead and play that. Play that for the audience.
I'm gonna play that clip right now. Let's hear from Jayden Daniels' mother. Lee, matter of fact, carry on, brother. I got the kit. I got the clip. It's like in a restaurant. It's in the back cooking. We gonna run that clip.
Well, the clip is going to be very telling about her attitude, right? Her mindset about her son, and with potentially having a relationship with a female. I remember 2 years ago, I think it was, that he was at a basketball game and Juju was there, Watkins was there, and they were sitting there conversing, talking, and then all of a sudden she came down and sat right in the middle of them. I mean, this is ridiculous. Jayden Daniels is a grown man. I mean, I get it that from a mother's perspective, you want to be guarded, because we know there are groupies out there for NFL, NBA, all professional athletes, but she's really, to me, Lil, over the top with this stuff. Now, she's his agent, business manager, whatever the case may be, But this move, man, out of left field, and really, I think makes Jayden looks bad. Look, I get what she was trying to say. Look,
I got the clip, Lee, whenever you're ready.
Go ahead and roll it. Go ahead and roll it. Let's let the audience hear, and then I'll chime back in.
And it was a question asked, like, what is your biggest fear? And that should be every parent's biggest fear. That should be, if you're a star athlete and you're a female in WNBA, that should be your biggest fear is, the men or, the women, because you're a public figure and, your dollar amount is associated with your name. So you never know who really is there for you and who's really against you. And our thing is like, I want Jayden to date. I don't want everybody to say I'm putting it on record. My son can date. He can live freely, makes his own decisions. However, the relationship we have, he does value my opinion because, when my kids were little, I did a lot for them.
Lee, the mic is yours again.
Yeah, I mean, he can date. Yeah, he can date. He's a grown man. He should be dating. What are you talking about? I mean, it just reeks of too much parental involvement in the man's life. And, all I see him doing is smiling when it happens. And it can't be a good feeling for people who try to get to know him from a female perspective because she's always lingering around. But the whole thing with LSU, that was Joe Burrow, Jayden Daniels, when you look at their numbers side by side, just from a pure statistical perspective, Leel, and, I do a lot of that, Jayden Daniels had a better Heisman Trophy season than Joe Burrow. Now, with a caveat, Burrow won the championship, national title. Hell, he had an NFL team, so I don't give much credence to that. But the overall play, Jayden Daniels' numbers were better. And so no one has worn Joe Burrow's number. And I guess from just a public image, why doesn't LSU have the same policy for Jayden Daniels? Now, they haven't officially retired anybody's number. But the bottom line here is this. You made a power move that you really didn't have power to do, Leel. You made a power move. You sent a cease and desist to stop doing what? Stop using my name, image, and likeness, because you can't stop the number 5 from being used, but his name, image, and likeness. And she did that. And now every LSU fan around the country that has ever went to LSU hates you. They hate Jayden Daniels. He can't even go back to LSU. They hate him. He'll get booed right off the field if he comes back. What did it serve? To do that? And Ray Blackwell, remember, she's his agent and she has the best interest of her client. How is that the best interest of her client? When you send something that shatters your image from a place that you had success. And then other things have come out. There were reports that, I don't want to say it, Leel, but she had some interactions with some players. I don't know if that's true or not. I can't say, but everything.
More than interactions, Lee, as far as the report, we don't know how accurate it is.
Well, yeah, I don't want to say all the things that were in the report, but everything that we're hearing, it's painting her in a bad light, and by extension, it's painting him in a bad light. So when he should be focusing on football, and I think he is, still it's a distraction. And let me say this, Leel, if something goes wrong, early interceptions, don't play well right out the gate, it's going to snowball on him. It's going to snowball on him real fast. So, Mommy Dearest, you're not doing him any favors with all of this stuff. And I just think the cease and desist letter, Ray, whether she's his agent or not, was a bad look. And I think it is hurting his image.
Yeah, I mean, look, Lee, let me break this down. Jayden Daniels' mother, and I agree with you. I think pretty much 99% of what you said was accurate. The 1% is just me trying to be an idiot here, trying to be hard, okay? But 99% of what you said, I agree with. Now, Jayden Daniels' mom is ruining his perception, ruining it. with the latest PR disaster, which this is. It's a PR disaster. And it's clear and obvious who the mastermind behind this jersey NIL demand thing is. And that's the mother. I mean, is not Jayden Daniels. Clearly, if you read his letter, it vindicates that it's not him. Obviously, what we know about his calm demeanor, definitely he doesn't strike me as that guy to do so. Now, we do know, as your friend Blackwell said, and listener of our show, NFLPA certified agent she is. She's listed as a sole representative of Jayden Daniels, also manages his business affairs on and off the field. Yeah. Okay, so we have to remember that here. Now, right now, when you talk about her being overly controlling over Jayden Daniels' life on and off the football field, she is creating problems that are not logical problems that will have solutions to what they're looking for. And in the process, they are tarnishing Daniels in the eyes of the media. We see off the field, you mentioned those videos that we seen about, the mother getting in between him and another WNBA player who looked like they were macking and whatnot. Yeah. Now, Lee, this is deeper though. This is deeper than football. And I'm glad we can use this platform talking about sports and kind of branching off, because black moms, when it comes to their black sons, they tend to be overprotective and controlling. And to me, I think it does more harm to a black boy trying to become a black man. Now, it makes the boy less self-sufficient most times than not. Now, luckily for Jayden Daniels, he happened to be good at the game of football, so he can make millions of dollars and provide for himself, and A or B, provide for his family. But you take the average guy. This was to be an average guy that's not good at football, that don't know how to tell a joke, that don't know how to put pen to a paper and rap, a guy that's trying to make it, in this economy, in this America. That mother would have ruined his life. I know I'm preaching here, whether people want to agree with me, whether they want to snap their finger, or whether they want to pout. I'm preaching. If Jayden Daniels was a normal American black boy growing up, his life would have been ruined. Not because the mother intentionally did it, but that's how it is with most black people in the household. Their mother tend to be controlling, especially. Now, this is not the case with Jayden Daniels, because obviously he come from a two-parent home, and it's indicative of his character. You see him, he's calm, he's humble, and you can tell that he's from a two-parent home. But in a lot of cases, if they're not a two-parent home, it's even worse. So
I don't know, Leel, if most black parents are like that. I wouldn't go that far to say most black parents are like that. This is over the top.
It happens a lot, and it definitely happens a lot. It happens a lot. And look, a lot of black parents that actually care about their children, and there's a lot that do. They go beyond and above. Look at the workforce. Like, you could tell who had to struggle, who had to get it on their own, and you could tell who, they come home and dinner's on the table and everything is there.
So in the Juju Watkins situation, when she was sitting with, and that was Juju Watkins, the USC star basketball player, one that had blew out her knee. She'll be back this year. She'll be the number one draft pick in the WNBA. In her case, Jaleel, she's just as popular, and at that point was making just as much money in NIL as Jayden.
Exactly.
There was no reason
and Lee,
for that.
And if Jayden Daniels is a millionaire, and she's doing that, and she's doing that, what makes you think that if he wasn't a millionaire, she wouldn't be getting on the same way? I just don't get it.
I think the money, the perceived protection of the money is something that I think she's focusing on. Of course, she loves her son. I mean, we saw the clip. Of course, she loves her son. But the perceived protection of the money and the wealth is something that I think is over the top with her. Sitting with Juju Watkins, hell, Juju Watkins is a millionaire as well.
Most celebrities,
it doesn't make any sense.
Most celebrities date other celebrities. So yeah, I get it. There are some people that try to obviously run up a bag, make a play. There are women that do that, but guess what? They do that from college. A lot of people, when you go to college and you're this NIL star, that's when they get on you. That's where, especially the snow buddies, they get on you. They're like, okay, I see he about to be a millionaire. Let me get up on that. And they act like we seen that picture of Russell Wilson with a white woman when he was drafted on draft night.
What's wrong with
Screaming.
Russell Wilson being with a white woman? It nothing to do with black and white.
No. At least stay with me here, bro. Let me get my point across. We seen Russell Wilson with a white woman, right? Not that it matters whether she was white or black, but I'm saying with a woman, right? And she was, screaming and yelling, and excited when he got drafted. And guess who we ended up with? Sierra. Okay. Somebody in this tax bracket. So most people, if they didn't come up with you and was with you when you got drafted, more than likely you're gonna go after a celebrity that's on your level. And clearly he was macking with that WNBA player. They seemed like they was getting to that point of conversations and who knows. And the mother still then try to intervene with that. So we can't hide, and she cannot hide, behind and mask behind, oh, okay, I'm doing it to protect his assets. To me, you're doing it to control his life. To me, that's the vibe that I'm getting. Lee, I'll let you.
It's partly that, I think, but I think a lot of it has to do with controlling the money, controlling the assets, and what she thinks is most important. There's no doubt she loves her son. I'm not even questioning that. But, love the son, love the situation, love
Joe Burrow won a championship.
She can go. Joe Burrow numbers has not won anybody anymore. Well, how come he can't get the same? Well, and Ray, I agree that he should have gotten the same respect, but there are different ways to go about doing that thing, and a formal letter being sent is not the way to go. Why not go and talk to Lane Kiffin? Why not go talk to the new coach, Lane Kiffin, about the number and have that conversation and go talk to the player? I mean, that, to formally draft a letter and send it, knowing that letter would get out, that's not a good look. That's just not a good look. And that's going to, when Jayden, if he struggles, Leel, it's going to creep up a problem with his image. And people are going to start questioning him when we probably 9 times out of 10 know that it's not him. My last point. Lamar Jackson's mother is his agent, Leo. She's his agent. We don't hear anything from her.
I don't even know how she looked.
Yeah. I know how she looks. She looks just like Lamar, and it's just female.
I mean, obviously,
she's a beautiful lady. She's a beautiful, beautiful lady.
That's Lamar Jackson's mother. I would assume they look alike.
Yeah, she looks that. Yeah, but she's a beautiful lady. But we don't hear her. We don't see her. But she is certified as his agent, right? And look at the contrast between the two. Miss Jackson is out in the front, boisterous, talks all the time, wants to be seen. Jackson's mother is quiet, and Lamar's about to get the biggest contract in NFL history. The contrast could be so different from one end to the other, and I just think this is bad for his image.
I mean, look, let me be clear here, and I'm actually going to defend Regina Jackson here in these regards, right? Because where I'm upset at is mainly because I'm more of like, let the guy be a man. Like, just let the guy be a man. You feel me? Like, he's grown, he's a millionaire, let him be a man. And listen, I love my moms. Obviously, my moms did a lot for me. She played a big part in where I am today as a regular human being that goes to work and do a podcast, don't loot, don't shoot, nothing, okay? Because she played a big part in that. But I'm gonna be real, like, at times I had to fight for my independence growing up. So I could relate to this. So it's not like I'm speaking gibberish here. Like, I could relate to this situation. Now, mind you, I'm not a millionaire. I'm not. So clearly there should be a level of independence that Jayden Daniels has as not only a grown-ass man, but as somebody that has millions of dollars. Even Michael Jackson said, you know what? F off, Joe Jackson. I don't need you in my life. I'm Michael Jackson. I got money. Okay? I don't got to tour with the Jackson 5 if I don't want to. So there's a level of independence that I believe that Jayden Daniels should have. But with that being said, what I will defend Regina Jackson with is the fact that I'm not going to hate that she's involved,
right?
That she, is on TV, that she's on the football field. I'm not going to do that. I like to see that. I like to see family. I think in this world that we live in, we don't really know the art of family anymore. And I like that aspect of it. It's almost like LeVar Ball. I was one of those heads when LeVar Ball was out there with his sons. I'm like, oh, he trying to pimp his son. He's trying to pimp his son. Then I thought about it and I said, you know what, Lil? Why would you think that? Because at the end of the day, we know that in the community, at least in the ghettos, more times than not, the father is not in the house. So you see a black father that's there to support his son. You should be on board with that. And that's what my thought changed on that topic. And that was before he got blackballed, right before he got blackballed by ESPN. That made me even root for him even more. So
he did too much too, though, Leo.
He probably did too much. But hey, at the end of the day, he did get blackballed from ESPN, and that made me root for him even more. So at the end of the day, I'm not opposed to parents being involved, getting a little bit of the limelight and the shine. You know, that's what they want. That's what they want. That's fine. That there's no rule against it. It's not a bad look. But at the same time, my issue is I just think that Regina Jackson should allow Jayden Daniels to become a man and let him spread his wings a little bit. Because at the end of the day, sure, I get the part that you don't want him to be pimped out by these women out here that, you know, be trying to pimp guys out, these Instagram models and all that. That's fine. But at the end of the day, and if you did a good job raising him, which you clearly, from my eyes, done, he will make the right decision to me. He will make the right decision. So, yeah, Lee, I'll let you bring us on with this topic.
Well, last thing I'll say, look, everywhere he's been, and Ray Blackwell says LSU and JD5 already had a conversation and he didn't approve the issuing of his number. Well, Ray, again, and Ray's going to defend. Look, I love Ray. He's going to defend Jayden Daniels till the cows come home. Nobody can't do anything wrong. But this is the problem I have, Lil. It was reported that at LSU, his mother wanted an office. You know, she was very highly involved with the whole, not LSU, with Arizona State, with the whole Arizona State thing when he was there. Look, when you become or think that you become on even footing with the athlete, right, that's a problem. And let me tell you who I love as a parent coming up. The Batsa, #1 draft pick. His dad stays behind the scenes. He works with him. He's behind the scenes. He's got his son ready to play. He's focused on his business, but he's out of the scene. Look, Mom, I know she loves her son. And I know that, she wants the best for him. But her being out front just as much as he is, or even a third of what he is not a good look. And all it's going to do is hurt his image in the long run.
Lee, I almost forgot, and this is exactly officially my last point here, and it's a short point that I want to make. My worry, too, is if you look at the question and if it could tarnish his image or not, let's look ahead here. Jayden Daniels eventually is going to be eligible for a big contract. And the thing that I'm worried about is the perception of he's hard to negotiate with because of his moms. That could get in the way of things, whether unintentionally or maybe it happens so she wants him to have a certain amount of money that she feel that he's worth and whatnot. There could be a perception that, you know what, she's in the way. And you know how it is. You know Jerry Jones, your guy, for a prime example, it was times that he dissed agents, or I don't want him involved, and we can see that happen here. So we have to be careful here when it comes to Jayden Daniels' career. But other than that, I think the guy's a humble guy from what I see. I'm wishing him success. I do believe that he's a very good quarterback. He's due for a bounce back year. And the last thing we want right now is noise that don't need to be noise going into the season. And that's where I'll leave it.
Absolutely.
But anyway, we are going to move on. And folks, we are just getting started. So if you like topic number 1, you might want to stick around for topic number 2, because this one is going to up the stakes here. All right. Me and Lee, for the most part, agreed on topic number 1. I don't know if we're going to agree on this one. So Lee, the first thing I want to do before we even get to this topic number 2, I want to, if my software will allow me, to play a clip, and I want to play this clip, and then I want to take it from here. And I believe we have it here, so we might as well play it, shall we?
What are we talking? Are you going off the Bible again?
No, just how many genders you think there are?
Are we talking like 2023 and like?
I'm just speaking.
There's a lot of different things going on in the world.
Time, and all of this stuff. We don't gotta. What's the facts?
Traditional people would say 2, but more accepting people in today's age would say there's more than 2. And if they're educated enough, they would
I want to know
specify.
how many. What's the number?
I think right now we're up to like 12, maybe.
12 genders.
12 different genders, yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of people identify differently.
So if there are 12 genders, why do you have a gender reveal party?
Okay.
If there are 12
that
genders.
doesn't mean your kid's going to stay the same gender and identity forever. Don't get that wrong.
No, you see where I'm going? If there are 12 genders, why do people have a gender reveal party?
For their child that is newborn, that hasn't come out of the womb yet.
Okay, so they have a gender reveal party, and how many genders do they have to choose from when they have a gender reveal party?
Traditionally speaking, has there been any fluent gay
you're not answering the question.
Gender reveal?
How many genders do they get to choose from when they have a gender reveal party?
That would be 2. How about I answer it? That would be 2. And the fact that the WNBA league, hold up, I'm coming in hot. Okay, this is Crash the show before the entrance walk in the WWE. Okay, we gonna take a couple licks here before we get in that ring and the bell sound. Okay, the WNBA, despite all that, is gonna go in a long meeting with the commissioner and all the representatives, and after that meeting, cannot decipher and decide and define what 2 genders they are. They can't define what a woman is, Lee. Where are we in society today, Lee? I don't know at all. But Lee, sorry for the unorthodox entrance to this topic. Should the WNBA embrace all publicity, including negative? The mic is yours.
First of all, that was a fool. That to me, anyway. That was a useless video. I'll just say that was a useless video. It didn't serve any purpose for me, but it just didn't. I just didn't. I didn't see what.
There's a correlation, but we'll get there. We'll cross.
Am I still on, Leel?
Yep, you're still on.
Well, for me anyway, this on the whole WNBA and publicity portion of it. This is my whole thing, right? And can you put me back there? There you go. I'm sorry. Quick technical. This is my whole thing on the WNBA. Look, back in the 1970s, Leel, a little bit before your time, you probably was born in the 70s. Probably born in the 80s. Yeah, what am I talking about? But back in the 70s, the NBA was a drug-infested league.
Kid, man.
The league was on tape delay. Well, there you go. 890. So this is way over your head. So, but it was a drug-infested league. It was tape delay. It was barbiturates and all kind of things, right? And they went through that period of trying to grow, and there was a lot of negativity behind that. Johnson and Bird comes in. It was still a lot of that going on, but they embraced Magic and Bird coming in with all of the other issues that were going on, relocation, the merger, and all. But all of that publicity served some purpose. And I say all of that because the WNBA should embrace everything. They should embrace the negative. They should embrace the positive because they're at their all-time height of viewership on TV, attendance in the ball games. They're playing in front of sellout crowds, in revenue generated, and in player salary. So they should embrace it all. Look, just because someone is saying this, the Royce Whites and the Enos Cantors, that's foolishness. And why embrace all this foolishness? Let them say and do what they want. Now, you said they can't decide. The problem here was, Leel, that It wasn't specifically put into their bylaws. And now that left open for people to interpret it any way they wanted to and say, I can declare for the NBA draft. Let me say this. I don't think the NBA has it clarified that only men, Leel, can apply for the NBA draft. I don't think that's clarified in the NBA's bylaws, right? So a woman could theoretically apply for the NBA draft. But you know what would happen? She would go undrafted and no team would bring her in. So for me, the WNBA should have just glazed over that and said, we embrace anyone who's interested in the WNBA and move forward, because no general manager, no owner would have drafted it, and the whole Enos Cantor and Royce White thing would have blew over. By addressing it and calling emergency meetings and all of that, that hurt their point of view, and it made Kathy Engelberg look bad, the commissioner. So embrace all of this stuff. Don't worry about what people say. You're thriving as a league. All of that other foolishness, man, put that stuff to the side, because you know what it's doing? It's still uplifting your product, and you're building, and life is good for the WNBA. So don't worry about it. Embrace the negative. Keep moving. You're about to go into your playoff time. It's going to be huge viewership. And hey, keep it moving.
Look, the WNBA should embrace all publicity if they're fine with the bad optics, if they're fine with people taking away from the sport for political gain and not watching the game. That's where they should embrace it. But if they want people to take it or take away from the sport, like how we take away from the NBA, we watch it for the sport. We don't watch it for the optics. We don't watch it for the political stuff. If they want us to feel like how we feel about American football, okay, don't even get me started, okay, because American football is like crack, okay? If they want us to get to a point where the WNBA is on crack, then they on crack, because we're not going to feel like it's crack. It's not this way, okay? But with that being said, Lee, let me work my way up. Okay, I like to work my way up. I see you a straight shooter.
I'm gonna take notes while you're working, but work your way up.
You see, Georgia, it was a Georgia mother named I believe it was Casey Thomas and her daughter Annie Thomas. They were at a game, and the WNBA security guard forced them to cover up their XX and XY biological gender shirts, right? And the publicity of banning freedom of speech is the publicity that you don't want, because nobody want to know that they're being censored. Okay, that's number one. Now, the proper logical approach to that, no matter where you stand on the political spectrum, is to ignore those demonstrations and acknowledge that people have the right to their opinions, like Sophie Cunningham when she spoke about women's rights and whatnot, and the fact that people have the freedom of expression as well. It's already embarrassing, like I said before, that the league cannot define what a woman is. That's the part where we're missing, Lee. Forget about women in the sport league and whatnot. How about we just define what a woman is? The fact that they can't even do that, that's where the problem lies for me. Number one.
Does the NBA, Leel, I don't mean to cut you off, does the NBA have to define what a man is?
The NBA does not have to define what a man is, because the NBA is about business.
Go ahead.
The NBA is about business. They're about that action.
The NBA has to define what a man is, though.
Okay?
The NBA
so they would never entertain that conversation. But anyway, you look at the dates according to the 2025 New York Times poll. 79% of Americans believe that transgender female athletes should not be allowed to compete in women's sports. That's 79% of America. That's public opinion. So when you try to censor somebody who tries to, demonstrate from a public opinion point of view, then yeah, that's an issue. Because sure, they may be people coming to the games that may be in favor of that, obviously allied to hecklers at Sophie Cunningham Fever games and whatnot. They was just booing her tonight and whatnot. But at the end of the day, the WNBA, if you're going to pick a side, that's where you're wrong. That's where you're going to shoot yourself in the foot by picking a side. Now, Lee, this is the point that's going over your head, because I could understand from your standpoint what you're trying to say. That, okay, publicity is publicity no matter what. And in some regards, you're right. But because the sport is being used for political gain, what you're going to think is going to happen come the primaries and the midterms? You don't think that the WNBA is going to be brought up? You don't think that people, or Republicans in particular, is going to use what's going on right here as a campaign trail against societal issues? Because this right here is societal issues here. It's going to be brought up, and the WNBA is going to be villainized because of that. So at the end of the day, Lee, yeah, sure, you can go with that narrative. All publicity is good publicity. Okay, fine. But again, Lee, we are taken away from the game, which you said that a lot of people are not watching the game. Well, hey, there's a reason why they're not watching the game. They don't need to. There's content all over the daggone place that has nothing to do with the game. And another thing,
watching the games, though. I didn't say that.
I'm hitting you with the combination. I'm hitting you with body blows. Okay, I'm about to go for the knockout blow here, because you have two stars in particular. Obviously, there's more stars in the WNBA. Obviously, you have the best player in the WNBA in AJ Wilson. But let me focus on the box office attraction here, or the attractions, right? Because, you know, there's two, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, right? We are taken away from their growth because, sure, Angel Reese missed a wide open layup, right? Yeah, sure. Guess what? People are gonna, right now, we started a race war where people can't even give either side credit, because we're gonna go and be like, oh, Angel Reese cannot make wide open layup. She's horrible at finishing at the rim, while ignoring that she's one of the best, if not the best, rebounder in the game. And we're gonna and people for her, it's gonna be like, oh, Caitlin Clark, she's all right. No, you know what? She's not what she was supposed to be, while failing to acknowledge she developed a mid-range game to add to her arsenal as a passer. She's been making crazy passes, and obviously we know what she does from deep. And obviously she's been playing very good ball as of late. So this racial war is taking away credit as opposed to giving it to two players who deserve it. And to me, that's hurting the sport.
Leel, it's not hurting the sport. See, I think, again, all-time high ratings, all-time viewership, stadiums are packed.
A woman is somebody with a vagina. Okay, don't get me started here, Tyrone. All right, a woman is somebody with a vagina. Okay, that's what a woman is.
Well, Leel, it does. Look. Everybody knows what a man and a woman is. That's not even the bigger issue here, and people miss the fact. The fact.
It took me 5 seconds to define what a woman is, Lee, but it took the WNBA still can't figure it out.
If you haven't clearly stated it,
Lee, your audio is going out.
Clearly stated in your bylaws. If you haven't clearly stated in your bylaws who can enter the draft, see, this is, Leo, I don't get sidetracked with foolishness, right? I'm not one that lets foolishness sidetrack me. I'm a straightforward, look at the data, analyze the data, and keep it moving. I don't let foolishness sidetrack me. So the bottom line of the deal is this, that the NBA doesn't have to define what a man is. Why? No one answered that question. They don't have to say a woman can't enter the NBA because they know that the woman would not excel. So that same logic should be applied to a man playing in the WNBA. We know that is not something that should happen. But
that's the point of the debate, Lee, because genetically men are superior than women genetically.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So that's why there's.
Hold on, Leo. Hold on, Leo.
The problem is
there's a woman that could play in the NBA.
Hell no.
If you don't, you're foolish. I didn't say start in the NBA. I didn't even say
if it's riding the bench. Hell no.
There's a woman that can play in the NBA. Don't be silly.
Serena Williams came out and said that an average Andy Murray would smoke her in tennis one-on-one.
So what?
Serena Williams, who dominated women's tennis, came out and said the middle of the pack, Andy Murray would dominate me.
Hold up. There's a man on the circuit, on the men's side of the circuit, that Serena Williams can beat too, right? Is that not true? We ain't talking about Andy Murray. We're not talking about the top of the people. We're talking
Serena
about
Williams is the GOAT in her lane. She's the GOAT in
Well,
her
I'm
lane.
trying
She's
to
one of
tell-
the. She's the best
Leel,
female athlete of all time. Let me just make that clear.
What you're missing is when you compare and contrast leagues, you want to have a certain standard for the WNBA and don't hold the NBA for the same type of standard. To me, that sounds like a double standard to me.
Lee, right now you're talking Bohemian, brother.
The NBA doesn't
you're talking Bohemian right now. Okay, because at the end of the day,
if I was a commissioner of the WNBA, I would have came out and I would have said, look, Royce Ennis-Cantor and Royce Clayton, that's foolish. We're not going to address that right now. We're having a great season. We're having all-time high.
They made them look stupidly.
I will not bring into
they
my
had
league.
the WNBA
That's what I would have said.
Those two guys are geniuses. They had the WNBA scrambling to call a meeting to define what a woman is. Salute to Ennis-Cantor.
Leel.
Royce
White was going through a political he was going through a political race of which he finished last. Stop it. This had nothing to do with them. Ennis-Cantor has been banned from the United States, and he can't get back in the league. These people wanted attention. This is not about making a point. They wanted their 15 minutes.
Let me go back to your question.
Foolish.
Let me go back to your question about why it never came up about what a woman is in the in the NBA, and if a woman could play in the NBA. You know why? Because they would get smoked.
Yeah.
So the problem is we have society that chooses when they want to be logical and when they don't want to be logical. All right, because logic will tell you that. That's why nobody brought it up. But the WNBA, however, now we stop being logical. Would not tell me. You know what it is?
Leel, do you know
if you are a man that calls yourself a woman, by all means, okay, by all means, I'm not here to tell you what you should do and what you should not do. That's not my job. I didn't create you. Okay. With that being said, if you feel that you should go into women's sports, you're doing it because you want an advantage, buddy. You're doing it because you want an advantage. That's what it comes down to. You want a competitive advantage.
And that may be the case. I'm not here to debate that much. I don't think men should play in women's sports. I don't think that. But the premise of what we're talking about here, to me, is non-existent. You haven't heard from Ross White anymore. You haven't heard from Ennis-Cantor. They wanted their 15 minutes of fame. Ray Blackwell, I didn't say a woman could start. I didn't even say a woman could play significant minutes. I said a woman could make an NBA team. That certainly can happen. You guys are tripping. Y'all don't be chauvinistic with your viewpoints. As great as these women are and the skill set that they have, don't be chauvinistic. I just happen to I'm very evolved, and I look at talent for talent. Y'all look at he's a woman, she's a woman, he's a man. They can't play. That's ridiculous. Stop that and look at the people's skill when they play. That's what I would champion. But Leel, quit that because you don't hold the NBA to the same standard as the WNBA. They're governed by basically the same people. So why would they have a different standard for the WNBA and the NBA? Think about that.
Because the WNBA is predominantly LGBTQ.
What does that have to do with anything?
There's a lot to do with that. There's a political aspect to it, Lee. There's a political aspect to it.
Look,
there's a political aspect to it.
Well, everything that's going on in the administration now is politicized. So that's nothing new. They're trying to use the WNBA. Just embrace it and keep it moving. So everything with this administration is politicized. That's nothing new for this administration.
Now, that's one thing. Now, obviously, we hit on, and we'll agree to disagree there. We hit on the culture wars and the definition of, what a woman and a man is. This is where I also want to add on to it. Because when you look at this question, as I want to pull it up, because I'm lost here. Where's the question? Here we go. Right, I'll bring the comments back in a minute. Should the WNBA embrace all publicity? This just not only includes racial wars and gender wars, right? There's other things here, and I want to get to those other things here, Lee, because I already dominated you, in the first go round. So we might as well go for round 3 here. Okay. Now, when you talk about what the WNBA need to be concerned about when it comes to publicity and optics is the officiating, primarily as it pertains to their box office attraction, Caitlin Clark. In general, I'm talking about beyond Caitlin Clark, but obviously pertaining to Caitlin Clark a lot too. Because you look at this, I wanna run this clip. You look at this play that was called, I believe it was on Sunday, definitely Sunday.
I watched the game. Go ahead and play.
Caitlin Clark was called for a foul here. Was really much ado about anything there, and they called that right now. They called that
hand in the back.
They reviewed the play, and that's fine. And sure, we can call that a foul, but we cannot pick and choose. We cannot pick and choose. For a prime example, Caitlin Clark, she gets guarded physically by opposing players on every single plays. Cheap shots that wasn't called. What are we calling that? What are we calling that? So she could get roughed up throughout the whole game, and Lee comes on the show, and Lee says, "Oh, that's how the game is. The game is physical." Lee, the last couple of shows, you came here and said, "You know what, Leel, you tripping. The game is a physical league. But the game is a physical league. Then what about that play is physical enough to call a foul?"
Leel, the league is a physical league. That is a foul too. You call the fouls, you call the flagrant ones, you call the flagrant twos. I don't get what your point is.
If they let stuff go on their best player, on their best attraction, right?
Stop it. Stop
how's that
as a guy who played every sport possible, football, basketball, baseball, ran track, volleyball, hockey. When you compete as hard as you can. You want to destroy the person in front of you, and you will do whatever it takes to destroy the person. Now, no one's out there picking on Caitlin Clark. You find a weakness in a person, and you exploit it. That's what's going on. The W is fit. Now, the NBA officiating needs to be improved. The WNBA does too. But for anybody who watches these games consistently to say that the WNBA is letting people do this to Caitlin Clark, they're just not watching the games because it's physical all the time. So that argument has no water, nothing to support what you're saying. There's nothing to support.
The business aspect is going over your head. If you want the WNBA to embrace everything, embrace the good, embrace the bad. Yeah. If we are that desperate, Lee, I'm literally, my brother. We got the nails right now, okay? We got the hammer and nails. And let me get this point across, and I'll let you bring us home, because I'm winding down. I gave you too many blows here. I'm starting to feel bad for you.
You're all over the place right now.
Now, if we are saying, right, if you're saying that the WNBA should embrace the good, should embrace the bad as well with it. If they're that desperate to want any type of publicity, including bad.
What's desperate?
And what about the meal ticket that's already in your league?
What's desperate about it?
What about getting behind her? Right? What about getting behind her and supporting her and not having these outlandish calls on her? Because she is the person prior to Caitlin Clark being drafted into the league, which was in 2024. The league didn't have multi-year maximum $1 million contracts. Prior to Caitlin Clark being drafted into the league in 2024, the league didn't have 15 active teams in the WNBA. So clearly, she has brought a lot to the game from a financial publicity perspective. And rather than you accept all the bad, the culture wars, the gender wars, how about we do the easiest thing? We take a page, a blueprint that was already shown to us by the NBA with Michael Jordan, by the NFL with Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, and get behind our best player. Give them favorable calls, not because you cheat in the game, but you don't do these ticky-tack stuff. Leel. How about we do that? That's the easiest publicity that you should be all in for, instead of taking all the bad. Because why do you need all the bad when it's really not benefiting the game itself?
Of course it is.
And people watching the game.
That's why you missed the boat. See, Leel, because and I get it. I know why you don't watch it as much. All-time ratings.
You know why I started watching the NBA, the WNBA league, was because of Caitlin Clark. And that had nothing to do with the racial war. That would have just went over my head.
I watched the
It was
WNBA.
because of Caitlin Clark.
I watched the WNBA for the skill level of the ladies that play.
You watched the WNBA longer than I did because you obviously was a WNBA fan. Now we are talking about the new people that are getting into the sport. Was bringing them into the sport is their box office attraction. Who was the number one watch team in the WNBA right now? It's the Fever with Caitlin Clark on it by a mile, and it's not even close.
Leel, if your premise was correct, then the Toronto Tempo, who has the third worst record in the league, had the largest attendance in WNBA history. That wouldn't have occurred. See, you gotta take it a step further.
Was this in Toronto, Lee? Was this in Toronto?
It was in Toronto. Absolutely, it was in Toronto.
There you go. That's my point. Toronto love their basketball. Are we gonna forget about the Raptors? Or we gonna forget about the Raptors and how they turn out for them? They love their basketball.
Lil, you have no point.
They love their sports.
That's what I'm saying. The other thing is,
we just gonna dismiss my stats, right? Because you miss a stat guy when it's beneficial to you, but we just not gonna acknowledge the fact that the Fever is the most watched
Toronto
WNBA
sports
team.
is Toronto sports. We're talking about the WNBA. You said they got 15 teams because of Caitlin Clark. They had already had the business model of doing the teams before adding teams before Caitlin Clark came in. They talked about them getting charter flights. They was already discussing it with the WNBA PA.
Yeah, and I talked to myself about being a millionaire, and guess what? I'm not a millionaire yet.
You just have to understand that people use this stuff, Leo, to get people to make these outlandish comments. And I'm sorry, I just don't fall for stuff like that. I tend to want to make sure that I'm more, in tune with what's going on. I don't fall for that. I look at it for what it's worth. The ratings are sky high. It's a certainly viable league. The ladies are making good money. The play is good. Caitlin Clark is a great player. Olivia Miles, you probably know who Olivia Miles is, Leo, but she's probably a better player in her first year. And let me say this, Caitlin Clark is not even the best player on her team, Leo. When you talk about
I've been watching the Fever. You've been watching the Fever. They got a lot of goals.
I'm gonna help you through this, Leo. I'm gonna help you through this because you need some additional pointers. I'm gonna help you through it because you're my guy.
Lee,
but you and Ray, y'all got to come off of this stuff about
Lee. The
women
problem is
lose women. It ain't even about that.
The problem is the way how the question is, right?
Yeah.
The way how the question is when you talk about publicity, including negative. Right? Yeah. You said that the WNBA should embrace all that.
Yeah.
But then you want to preach about who's watching the WNBA and who's not. At the end of the day, if you want people to watch the WNBA, let it be about the WNBA. Let it be about
people are watching. They are watching because
by your logic, you're wrong. You're literally going against your logic.
No, I'm
you're
not.
Literally going against your own logic. If you want people to watch the WNBA as consistently as you are, then how about we get behind Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and all the stars, AJ Wilson? How about we get behind those players individually and watch the games instead of this foolery about what a woman is and what a guy is and all that? That's not helping. People are just using that for their political content.
But see, Leel, the issue here is the people that are doing that, they're the outliers. They're not the mainstream. That the mainstream is focusing on the basketball. The outliers are focusing on what you just said. And the other thing is, Leo, people are smarter than that. The WNBA is thriving, and people are using it for their political gain. There are the minority. The majority is watching the league and making sure that we know that the league is thriving. You got to understand that this is not about the league. The league is great. It's flourishing. It's continuing to grow. This is about those who are using it for their own political gain, trying to infiltrate that. It's not working, Leo. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you look at the game, if you watch,
running in circles here.
I'm not.
You think you're cooking. You think you're cooking.
To help you,
but you're burning the food. You're burning the food here, bro. You're burning the food because you're going up against your own logic, bro. You're over here giving me a "I have a dream" speech about the WNBA game, and then you going ahead and saying that we should accept all publicity, negative.
Leo, you focusing on little stuff, man. And I'm trying to get
the
you
little
out
stuff
of there.
is taking over the media.
No, it's not. Leo, do you know how many networks broadcast the WNBA? At
The
least
little stuff is
five,
taking over the media.
Six networks are
You
broadcasting.
said Royce White and Enos Cantor had their 5 minutes of fame. They were on every platform. That was more than 5 minutes of fame. They
Leel,
still doing podcasts right now.
Have
talking
you seen
about
them last week? Did you see them this week?
I seen them today.
Leel,
I seen them today.
Stop it.
They're everywhere.
Leel, the
5
WNBA
minutes of
games
fame.
on 5 or 6 networks.
These guys
on
rejuvenated their
every day of the
career.
week. Come on, man. You
I
gotta
bet you
stop
Enos
that.
Cantor gonna get a podcast out of this.
Leel, stop it. Anybody can get a podcast. The bottom line is, Leel, when you look at the numbers,
They're gonna get a podcast out of this, and they ain't gonna talk nothing about the WNBA.
Leel,
they just went to the WNBA, took what they need to get from there, and they're gonna make a podcast and ain't gonna talk nothing about the WNBA. How is that benefiting the WNBA?
The bottom line here, as we move on, is the league flourishing? Are the ladies making more money? Or is the revenue model increasing? And if the
you know why, Lee? You know why it is?
Hold on.
You know why it is?
If the answer to all of those questions
you know why
yes,
it is, though, right?
then all that foolishness you're focusing on doesn't matter.
You know why that is, right? Why everybody eating now, right?
It doesn't matter.
The box office attraction that people love to hate. You know what, Lee? You know what I find amusing? And I don't know why the hell I didn't have this together, but we're going to airdrop this to my phone right now. And then we are going to bring this up on the show. Lee got me ready to go. I am rejuvenated, Lee. We're going to continue with the people like it. Everybody commenting. All right. You know what, Lee? We got more to give
I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you, bro.
I'm going to get this quote here because we can agree. Well, I don't think we can because clearly you're not giving sister credit for, her role and making the WNBA watchable. Obviously you've been watching the game, Lee, for as long as you've been watching it, but not everybody else. Okay. Now you look at this I've been watching quote right here. You say Caitlin Clark is good at basketball, and people start treating you like a Republican. That's why I don't watch girl sports. So you have a guy here, black man, rubber band Grant, excuse me, Haitian dude, right? Because he got the Haitian flag. Okay. Not that it matters, but I'm just representing the flag. I'm giving him credit. I'm getting Haitians some love. Okay, salute to the Zoes out there. But you get a guy like that who's scared to even talk about how good of a basketball player Caitlin Clark is. Mind you, she's the face of she's the box office attraction, but he's scared to give her credit because he feels he's betraying his own people. He feels that he's betraying his own people. How is that benefiting the sport of the WNBA, Lee?
Well, I'll answer that. I don't know who this brother is, but brother, you need to have more confidence than you got. You can talk about anything. You're limiting yourself. So
you're not the real Leel. You be trying to put me in my place when I talk good about Caitlin Clark, but guess what? I don't back down because I'm the real Leel. I can say it with my chest.
That quote means absolutely nothing to me. What I would say to the brother is have more confidence in your opinion and yourself. I don't want to hear that. That quote means nothing. I think we should dismiss that because if you can't voice your opinion, shame on you, rubber band Grant. The bottom line is, Leel, you didn't answer my question. Making more money, more viewership, revenue model has increased, players making more money, everything is up, and you say the league is not flourishing. Give me a break. You talk about business, that is business. I think it's time to move on. I
gotta break it to you, man. You got cooked, bro. You got cooked on that topic, bro. I like how you went down. I like how you still fighting. You don't want to tap out, Lee. I get it. I respect it. Humbly, I respect it. Now, I mean, you're my kind of guy. I would have been the same way too. I would have still been fighting. I would have been like, no, Lee,
bring this week quote on as a closeout.
But it's cool. We can end it there. We can end it there. I think we gave the people a lot of good content there. That's one thing we can agree on. But we are going to move on to the final topic here on today's show. And Lee, I'm already pumped. So guess what? We're going to continue to rock this out. I'm going to continue to speak my piece with the same intensity here, even with this topic coming up. We are going to talk about the Browns quarterback battle. If I can find this flyer here. Do we got it here? No, we don't. But we're going to pick that up in a minute. Let's talk about the Browns, Lee.
All right.
I want to talk about the Browns. Do it. Because right now we have a massive quarterback battle going on with Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders. And has Deshaun Watson pulled away from Shedeur Sanders to earn the starting role after preseason number 1 that took place a couple days ago. Lee, the mic is yours.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the bottom line is Deshaun came in. Deshaun played well, 11 for 16, 126 yards. Shedeur was 6 for 11, 79 yards. I don't think Deshaun has pulled away because of a couple of things. One, Shedeur gets his opportunity this week to start with the 1, so Shedeur can do the things that I know that he can do. Deshaun on Saturday, I think he operated well. He got the Browns into their plays. He really performed well, especially in that first quarter, distributing the ball. Didn't throw the ball down the field for a lot of air yards, Leel, which bothers me because you have some big play receivers, Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion, you got Fannin, and they really didn't go down the field under Deshaun Watson. So, but I like what Watson did. I like how he his mechanics, the operation was quick in and out the huddle. So he was okay to me, very good to me. Shedeur Sanders came in, granted with the second and third string quarterbacks. Third string players. The interesting thing to me was how they called the game differently when Shedeur got in. They really pushed the ball down the field. They threw the ball deep. It was more deep outs down the field. The interception was unfortunate. Just a mistaken overthrow. But I like the fact that they pushed the ball down the field. So against Buffalo this week, which is one of the so-called premier teams in the league, Shedeur gets to start. He gets to come out, and he gets to play with the first team. And we'll see what happens there. If Shedeur plays well and the Browns move the football and they throw the ball down the field, how can you not go with Shedeur? Because when you look, I like Deshaun, but when you look at it, I don't like the fact that he threw the ball less than 10 yards. Deshaun, I'm talking about, most of the time he threw the ball on Saturday. That's sort of a red flag to me. I need the ball pushed down the field, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, look, Lee, I don't think Deshaun Watson has pulled away from Shedeur because I don't believe that he's a quarterback that probably should be starting. But even up to this point, I don't think that Shedeur has did enough to make the case for the Browns to not waste $46 million on the bench. There's a difference there. There's a difference between Deshaun Watson pulling away and Shedeur doing enough. When you talk about the investment that they had behind Deshaun Watson to say, you know what, Shedeur, you did so good that, you know what, I'm going to bypass, the fact that Deshaun Watson is getting paid $46 million and I'm going to bench him. I don't think so, Lee. Not what I saw. Not what I saw in week 1. Not what I've been following in camp.
But Leel,
because
go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, thank you, Lee. I appreciate
I'll
that.
let you finish.
So you look at Shedeur, right? He's just like any 5th round pick in the sense that he has to work harder. He has to be better. He has to prove himself beyond reasonable doubt compared to somebody else that already got the accolades, that already got, the money and all that. He has to work harder. So I've been following Browns camp all throughout.
I have to.
Because this, to me, has always been a topic that I was interested in because I believe it's the more polarizing quarterback battle and intriguing quarterback battle there is in the NFL. So I've been following. And from what I saw up to this point, Deshaun Watson has been turning the ball over like a mother. Okay? Like a mother. And I came into this game saying, you know what? If Shedeur Sanders is better than Deshaun Watson, he might win this job. He might have a chance to win this job.
What does better mean? What does better mean, Leel?
He just outperforms him. Like if he outperforms Deshaun Watson in preseason game 1, he's probably going to get the job. But to my surprise, he didn't. To my surprise, Deshaun Watson, although wasn't perfect, he still had airy pocket awareness. We saw that fumble. He outperformed Shedeur Sanders. Now, Lee, you know how I know that Todd Monken didn't trust Deshaun Watson going into this game? Because the first 3 plays were running. They were running plays to Junkins. And then it wasn't until the 5th play where Deshaun Watson actually threw a pass. So clearly going into this, Todd Monken was already iffy with Deshaun Watson. So Shedeur Sanders had a shot there. So I don't want these Shedeur has to come at me and say, you know what? He never had a shot. They didn't like him. You know, if they give Deshaun Watson the job, you know it's coming, Lee. You know it's coming. Okay, these guys going to come out the woodworks. Oh, he never stand a shot. No, he stood a shot. He got the whole second half to play.
Come on,
and he did not, you know, prove himself that he's a starting quarterback in the league based on what I saw. Deshaun Watson, I wasn't impressed either. But at least it was better than what Shedeur did.
Leel, when you're playing with the 2s, 3s, and 4s, it's different from playing with the 1s. It's different. You get more protection. You get better receivers and better routes ran. You get better blocking.
He didn't look comfortable in the pocket either.
So, Leel, there's no way that an individual, a coach, or anybody that evaluates football would say, based off of that game last week, you should give the starting job to Deshaun Watson. Now,
I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying that
nobody.
Lee, there's a money aspect to this whole conversation.
It's not. And
no, it is. If you're paying somebody $46 million, like you're gonna give him every chance
Leel,
to win that job. And that other guy, that's a 5th round pick, has to be superb. He has to be superior beyond reasonable doubt for you to say, you know what? I'm going to pay Watson $46 million to not quarterback my football team this upcoming year.
Look, let me say this. No matter what happens with Deshaun Watson, he could tear his Achilles again. He could not be the starter. He could get sick and have COVID. He's still going to get $46 million. It doesn't matter what happens with Deshaun Watson. The money is here. So that is irrelevant about the starting job. Todd Monken, on the other hand, has never been a head coach. He's never been a head coach, and he don't want to be one of these coaches that are one and done. So you better play the best quarterback so that you can show the Browns brass that you are a good coach. You've never been a head coach in the league. You've only been a coordinator, and you really didn't get it done with Lamar Jackson. So you need to come out and win some football games. So the contract is absolutely irrelevant at this point because he's going to get paid $46 million at all. Anyway, after this week, when Shedeur starts against Buffalo, I can definitively say who should be the starting quarterback. I can definitively say. But if anybody, I don't care if you're a coach on ESPN, whatever, says that Deshaun Watson, based off of that first preseason game, should be the starter, I would question their football knowledge. I would question it because there's no way you evaluate a quarterback that's playing with the ones, the number one offensive line, the number one running backs, the number one receivers. There's no way that you evaluate that person the same way as a quarterback that's playing with the 3s and the 4s. That's ridiculous. So anybody that says that, if you're saying that, that's ridiculous. I'm not paying all that money to sit a dude. It doesn't matter. You're going to pay him anyway. So sitting him doesn't matter. It's about winning football. Guys, come on, Kenny. You got to be better than that. It's about winning football.
That's fine, and you're talking from a fan perspective.
No, I'm not.
No, you are. Because a fan will say that. A fan will say, you know what?
Leel.
Go with the best player.
Hold up, Leel.
But the front office is not saying that.
Hold up, Leel. There's
countless. Do we really think that this is a quarterback battle? And no, I'm not trying to ignite all the Coach Prime people. Yeah, Lil, you know, I told you they blackball Sanders. You're coming home, Lil. You're coming home. They blackballed him out the league. No, I'm not coming home. I'm staying where the hell I'm at. All right, this is not that. What I am saying though, in defense of Shedeur Sanders, he's not winning the job, bro, unless he comes in this week 2. By the way, Lee, did you peep the quote from Todd Monken before you came on the show? That if they look good in practice, they may not even play the starters in week 2. What does that tell you about who got the job?
They have
he said that if they look good in practice, he's not even going to worry about playing the starters. So what does that tell you about where Shedeur stands in this whole entire thing?
He will play the starter. See, you got to quit. See, sometimes, and I know I've been doing this longer, and I have,
it came from the horse's mouth.
The evaluation of football and these sports.
It came from the horse's mouth. I'm giving you literally what came out of his mouth.
You have to read between the lines. I guarantee you that there will be ones out there with Shedeur Sanders.
Okay, and yeah, I would predict so. I would think that's logical because at the end of the day, from a football perspective, you want to give Shedeur Sanders every ample amount of opportunities to go out there with the one, so you can see what you have in Shedeur. Because if Deshaun Watson bombs, you can go back to the Shedeur and say, you know what, hey, now's your time, right? So yeah, from a football perspective, that's true. But Lee, yeah, sure, we can talk about it from a fan perspective and football perspective, but at the end of the day, money is always going to be the topic of conversation. Deshaun Watson is going to start unless this dude literally wets the bet, throws 5 interceptions in the second preseason game, and Shedeur is superb. As long as Shedeur and Deshaun is neck and neck, Lee, which clearly they have been, sure, Watson has been turning the ball over a lot more than Shedeur in camp and all that. But as long as they're neck and neck and no separation, you're going to go with the $46 million man. And that's undisputed. That's not even debate.
No, Leel, that's the fan talking to you right now.
That's the front office talking.
No, it's
I'm telling you what's going to happen, Lee.
Listen to me. Let me help you here. The reason you don't have to go with the $46 million man because you have no more money invested in Deshaun Watson after this year. So regardless of what happens, Deshaun Watson is making $46 million. Do you remember when Russell Wilson came in the league? He was a 3rd-round draft pick, and they had just gotten Seattle just signed Flynn from Green Bay to be the starter, and they paid him big money, starter money. But Russell Wilson came in as a rookie, took his job, and started. The front office cares about winning. Now, Deshaun Watson has no more money vested in
what front office? The Browns front office? Okay. The Browns. When is the last time the Browns won, Lee?
Leel.
When was the last time the Browns front office cares about winning?
Leel. Okay. I'm trying to help you see how front offices look at things based off of guaranteed money. There is no more money vested in Deshaun Watson. Look, and
the team that traded away Myles Garrett cares about winning. Right. Okay.
Well, the team that traded away Myles Garrett, Leel, they set themselves. Dallas traded away Micah Parsons, who, if he wasn't the best defensive player in the league, he was the second best. But Dallas traded away Micah Parsons, and look at what they got. So, Leel, I'm trying to help you here, bro, because look. This is what I do, man. This is what I do.
No.
It's about front office management.
You're not helping me. At the end of the day, Deshaun Watson is going to start, bro. I don't know how the hell to break it to you. I know you love Shedeur. Shedeur, he's I like his personality. I like his charisma. He's a little bit too cocky, but I like his charisma. I think you got to be cocky too in the NFL. So I dig it. But at the end of the day, Lee, I know on Saturday night you was up watching Coach Prime. Despite having church in the morning the following day, I get it, Lee. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. You're all into Shedeur. But at the end of the day, the Browns are not going to not play Deshaun Watson when he's making $46 million. Because guess what?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Guess what?
What you're saying doesn't make
sense. The same thing. You know what's funny? What's funny, Lee? When Russell Wilson was drafted, right?
Yeah.
Did Russell Wilson did they give Flynn Did they give Flynn some games to get it going?
No, he didn't play any games. Russell Wilson started from day one.
He started from day one, right? He started from day one, right?
Yes.
Cool. Now, at the end of the day, the people, guess what? They believed in Russell Wilson right up the gate. Because guess what? They showed. When did they draft Russell Wilson?
They drafted in the 3rd round. The reason Russell won because he played better in the preseason. They drafted
Russell Wilson in the 3rd round. And what happened during the preseason, Lee?
He played better. They had 4 games. He played better.
But he played better, Lee. He played better.
Not in the first game.
So beyond reasonable doubt, which I said in my first lap. See, Lee, I'm not talking. I'm just not talking just to talk. I'm connecting the dots here.
You don't know.
Remember my first statement. Shedeur hasn't definitively beyond reasonable doubt. I said that. People watching the show. I said that. Y'all heard it. Beyond a reasonable doubt that he's better than Deshaun Watson. So guess what? They're going to go with Deshaun Watson because he hasn't beyond reasonable doubt. And if you watch that preseason game, first of all, he didn't even outplay Watson. Watson outplayed him. And Watson didn't even look all that great. So what is that telling you about Shedeur?
Leel.
And Watson did not play all that great. As my guy Ray Blackwell said in the comments, which I saw, he wasn't great in the pocket. You want to watch the
Leel.
fumble again? You want to watch that stupid fumble? What is this? What is this? But guess what? Even that still outplayed Shedeur Sanders. So we can't expect, and we over here saying that's a good point, Lee. Like way back, Blackwell, you had me. You was on my side, and now you saying it's a good point. It's not, because Russell Wilson outperformed Flynn definitively, and that's why he started. Despite the money that Flynn was making.
Leel, over the course of 4 preseason games, he outperformed him. Not in the first game.
How many preseason games do we have this year, Lee? How much time do we have this year, Lee? Don't we have 3 preseason games this year?
Yes.
Instead of 4? Instead of 4, right? That's a less game that Shedeur Sanders has to show that he's definitively, okay, beyond reasonable doubt, better than Deshaun Watson. So the front office could be like, you know what? Even though we paying Deshaun Watson $46 million, beyond reasonable doubt, Shedeur Sanders is better, and we're going to roll with him. You know why that's not going to happen, Lee? Because it's easier to go to Shedeur in week 4 and 5 and say, you know what? We got it wrong. We can fix it. We can go with Shedeur. And guess what? Tom Munkin can save his job. Lil Shadamas on the mic.
Leel, that's the only good thing you said in this whole debate. I agree with you on that. It's certainly easier to go from Deshaun to Shedeur. But like I said at the beginning of this debate, after this next preseason game, we'll see. Because after that game, he probably will name a starter. Because if Shedeur doesn't play well, obviously it's Deshaun. But if the Shedeur Sanders plays well, and I have every reason,
I gotta take it easy on you, Lee.
If he plays with the ones,
I gotta take it easy on you.
I'm trying to help you all around with this stuff, man. I want you to be able to look at this stuff from more perspective than just a fan. You're talking like a fan on here, and I'm trying to educate you like a GM and an owner and scouts. I'm trying to help you, and I'm trying to help Kenny and everybody out there because I know this stuff, man. This is what I do, okay? This is what I do. But anyway,
I think that pretty much concludes a dope episode full of
I love it, man.
Lee, do you realize I have to go to work tomorrow?
Yeah, I do too.
And I have to talk. So you can't let me go to work without having a voice, bro. You know, I gotta do presentations. Now I got a lot to do, Lee. Now I gotta have a voice for it.
I know you need your voice because I know what type of work you do, man. Hey, gargle in some salt water, you'll be fine, bro. That's another tip from Lee. Gargle in some salt water, you'll be okay, bro.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for tapping into the Real Leel Show today. This was an explosive show. Definitely turn it up a notch and make sure you share the video. I think people gotta see this. I think we don't get this type of content on ESPN, man. We don't get this organic, real content on ESPN. We get the reader from the teleprompter. Oh, you take that side, I'll take this side. We'll make up a debate. No, this is organic. Okay, this is unscripted.
Appreciate you, Kenny.
All right. So salute to my guy Lee. Lee, feel free to plug yourself in.
No, man, this was a great episode, man. I love being on with Leel. All joking aside.
Salute to all y'all, Ray, Kenny, all y'all watching.
We do this every week, and this is my guy, man. And so I love debating with him because he brings it. And I really enjoyed the show, man. Again, After the Buzz of Sports podcast every Sunday, 6:30 p.m. But this was a fire show. Y'all share this video. Tell people about the Real Leel Show with special guest Lee Jones. Tell us about it because this is how we do it, man. And, don't nobody bring it like we do. So appreciate you, brother.
Definitely. Thank you for coming on. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure you like and subscribe. And we'll see you on the other side. Peace out. Peace.
Sports, politics, conspiracy theories. We are here to give you our unique perspectives on things happening in the world. It's the one and only The Real Leel on The Real Leel